It was a quiet summer evening in Denver, Colorado, when a chilling discovery shattered the calm of North Oneida Street. On July 3, 2020, 40-year-old Ariana Woke was found brutally stabbed to death inside her small apartment, the very same kind of violent end her grandmother had suffered 50 years earlier at the hands of the Manson family. The connection was almost too haunting to believe. 2 generations. 2 women. 2 murders, both ending in blood. Earlier that day, neighbors had seen Ariana alive. She seemed relaxed, cheerful even. But one detail stood out: she wasn't alone. A man had been with her, someone none of them recognized. What they would later tell police about that man was both revealing and deeply disturbing. Just before 9:30 that night, a 911 call came in from a resident in the building. The voice on the line trembled as they described what had just happened. A man had knocked on their door, frantic, saying he'd just found his friend upstairs, dead. When officers arrived, they followed the caller up a narrow stairwell and into Ariana's apartment. Inside the bedroom, near the closet, they found her. Ariana lay face down on the floor, her body surrounded by dark, drying pools of blood. She had been stabbed nearly 20 times, most of the wounds to her back and neck. The brutality spoke volumes. The friend who discovered her said she had been trying to help Ariana stay sober. In recent months, Ariana had been struggling with alcohol addiction, and her friend was staying over to support her recovery. That night, however, Ariana's young son was staying with relatives, a small mercy in an otherwise horrific scene. Earlier that day, Ariana had made plans to attend a barbecue with her boyfriend. A friend remembered her invitation clearly. She said, "Hey, come with us to the park." But I told her I needed to go home and rest. That was the last time I saw her. Officers canvassed the building, speaking to anyone who might have seen or heard something. One neighbor recalled seeing Ariana that evening, around sunset, but she wasn't alone. A man was with her. "I saw him in the yard, near the back gate," the neighbor told detectives. "He went inside. I thought nothing of it, until later." Another witness, who lived downstairs, remembered something even more unsettling. Around 8:45 p.m., that same man had knocked on her door, twice. He claimed Ariana was acting strange, saying she might hurt herself. "He wanted to come in and talk," the neighbor said. "But I told him to stay outside. He said he was leaving, but a little while later, I saw him again. In the backyard. No shirt on." By 9:15 p.m., Ariana was dead. The timing was too close to ignore. Whoever that man was, he hadn't left when he said he would. Investigators soon learned that Ariana had only lived in that apartment for a few months. Her on-again, off-again boyfriend, Patrick, had recently moved out. Friends described Ariana as kind, generous, and playful, a devoted mother and a survivor of personal struggles. But her life carried the heavy shadow of a family curse. Ariana's grandmother was Rosemary LaBianca, one of the victims of the infamous Charles Manson murders in Los Angeles, 1969. Rosemary and her husband, Leno LaBianca, were killed the night after the Tate murders. Manson himself had chosen their home, directing his followers to carry out another slaughter. Rosemary was found in the living room. Leno in the bedroom. Each had been stabbed dozens of times. Ariana was born 10 years later, in 1979, and by 2020, she was only 2 years older than her grandmother had been when she too was stabbed to death in her own home. Detectives entering Ariana's apartment noticed a faint trail of blood leading from the bedroom, through the living room, and into the kitchen. In the sink, a folding knife was found, coated in blood. The faucet handle had residue as if someone had tried, briefly, to wash their hands. Their first suspect was the most obvious one, Patrick, Ariana's boyfriend. There was a documented history of domestic violence between them, and at the time of her death, Patrick was out on pre-trial release from a previous assault against her. When detectives brought him in for questioning the next day, Patrick appeared calm. "Closest I was to her place was Walgreens," he said. "Around 2 or 3 in the afternoon." He claimed he'd met Ariana there briefly, that she'd been drinking, and he'd decided to leave her alone. But as the interview went on, Patrick offered another detail. He said Ariana had a tendency to invite strangers into her home, people she'd just met, often those living on the streets. That comment would take the investigation down a much darker path. As detectives continued piecing together Ariana Woke's final hours, the story began to shift in a deeply unsettling direction. Patrick, her on-again, off-again boyfriend, had been ruled out. His GPS ankle monitor confirmed he wasn't anywhere near the apartment the night Ariana died. But what he told investigators next would open a door to something far stranger. According to Patrick, Ariana had a dangerous habit, one that made her vulnerable. When she drank, she trusted too easily. She'd meet strangers off the street, people with no home, no job, often desperate, and invite them inside. She'd hand them her debit card, tell them to go buy something, Patrick explained. No thought process. Just pure trust. Especially when she was drinking. Patrick recalled that when he saw Ariana earlier that afternoon at a Walgreens, she wasn't alone. She was with a young man, someone he didn't recognize. She said he was around 20, Patrick said. White kid, dark hair. Kinda flamboyant, stylish haircut, red shirt maybe. She'd just met him on the street. Told me he was gay, said he was funny. It sounded harmless at first. But within hours, Ariana would be dead, and that same man would be at the center of a murder investigation. Detectives worked quickly to verify Patrick's story. The GPS data cleared him, and attention turned to the unknown young man. Neighbors soon helped fill in the gaps. A visitor to the downstairs apartment told detectives it wasn't unusual to see new people coming and going from Ariana's place. She always had new faces, he said. After her boyfriend moved out, it was like every day, someone different. I saw her once coming from the liquor store with her dog, and there was this guy. I'd never seen him before. Looked Mexican, box haircut. I even thought he pushed her once when she tripped on the stairs. Asked him if he did, and he said, no. She laughed it off, said, he's gay. That same day, July 3, 2020, around 5:15 p.m., security cameras on East Colfax Avenue captured Ariana walking eastbound with a man matching that description. She had her friend's small dog on a leash, and the man beside her was wearing all black with bright red shoes. The two were seen entering a small convenience shop, its interior surveillance cameras recording them as they browsed. Ariana looked intoxicated, unsteady, distracted. The man carried a clear Starbucks cup, filled with a pink drink, in his right hand. On his left forearm, a distinct red tattoo. When detectives later combed through the crime scene, that same Starbucks cup was found discarded in the front yard. It looked ordinary, but inside, it held the key to the case. Fingerprints lifted from the cup came back to a 24-year-old man named Jose Sandoval Romero. He matched every detail, the hair, the build, the tattoo. On July 7th, detectives brought Jose in for questioning. Unlike Patrick, who had shown no injuries, Jose's hands told a different story. Two fresh, partially healed cuts marked his right hand, injuries consistent with a knife slipping during a stabbing. The kind of cuts killers often give themselves without realizing it. Blood droplets found in Ariana's kitchen and living room matched that same pattern, a wounded assailant moving through the apartment. During questioning, Jose wore sunglasses the entire time, complaining of light sensitivity. He seemed detached, almost performative. But his story unraveled in pieces. He claimed he met Ariana earlier that day, outside the Walgreens. According to him, she was fighting with her boyfriend when she approached him out of nowhere. She came up to me, asking if I was okay, Jose said. I didn't even know her. She said her boyfriend had a restraining order and that she didn't feel safe. Jose said he tried to calm her down. Then, his story took a bizarre turn. He claimed Ariana began talking about strange things, that she wanted to put frog poison in her body, that she did weird drugs and wanted him to try them too. She said she puts frog poison in herself, he told detectives. Wanted me to do it too. I told her no, that I didn't know anything about that stuff. According to Jose, after Patrick drove away, Ariana invited him to walk with her. Along the way, she insisted on buying food for a homeless man in an alley. He said he helped her carry the bags and the dog because she could barely stand. She was stumbling, he said. Kept dropping things. I told her I didn't want to go with her, but she begged me. Said she couldn't make it home alone. As Jose spoke, detectives watched him closely. His tone was inconsistent, part confusion, part indifference. He painted himself as a reluctant Good Samaritan, but his injuries, his fingerprints, and his proximity to the victim told a different story. And behind every word he said, there was one question detectives couldn't shake. If Jose was just helping a stranger home, why did she end up dead, stabbed nearly 20 times? When detectives pressed Jose Sandoval Romero for what really happened inside that apartment, his story grew darker and increasingly erratic. He claimed that after helping Ariana home, he made her tea, trying to calm her down. She was crying, pacing, spiraling. He insisted that he didn't know she was drunk, only that something felt off. Let me make you some tea, he told her. Let me make you some coffee. Anything to make you feel better. But what came next wasn't comfort, it was chaos. According to Jose, Ariana suddenly turned combative, lashing out at him. And that, he said, is when he lost it. And then I just, kind of lost it, he mumbled. And you know, in there, it's kind of self-said. The part he called self-said was the part where he stabbed her, multiple times in the back, killing a woman he'd known for only a few hours. At first, Jose told detectives he had tried to leave. He said he even went downstairs to speak with a neighbor, warning her that Ariana was acting strangely. I told the neighbor, "This lady is crazy, I gotta go," Jose said. I asked if she could check on her later because I didn't want to stay. But that wasn't what happened. Instead of leaving, Jose went back upstairs. And what he told detectives next blurred the line between delusion and manipulation. She played me, he said repeatedly. Every time I tried to go, she'd stumble, cry, fall to the ground. I felt bad. I couldn't just walk away. Then, his story took another turn. He claimed Ariana had drugged him, that she was messing with his head. He said she talked about death, about her boyfriend coming to kill him, and that she convinced him they were both going to die that night. She told me her boyfriend and his friend were coming to kill me, Jose said. She talked me into it. She said the only way to help her was to kill her. Detectives pushed back. So you're saying the only way to help her was to kill her? Yes, he replied quietly. But as they confronted him, the contradictions piled up. He said Ariana attacked him first, that she grabbed a knife and tried to stab him, but his wounds told a different story. 2 shallow cuts on his hand, consistent with his own weapon slipping. When she walked into her bedroom, she was going toward the closet, he said. That's when I stabbed her. She was facing away from me. Ariana had been stabbed nearly 20 times, most wounds to her back and neck, while she was trying to walk away. Afterward, Jose stripped off all his bloody clothing, dumped them and his red shoes in a nearby dumpster, and fled. He spent the next several days hiding at his mother's house, waiting for police to find him. When detectives confronted him with the evidence, the cup, the blood, the wounds, they challenged his every excuse. If you had enough sense to destroy evidence and run, one detective said, then you knew exactly what you were doing. Jose hesitated, then said something chilling. We both understood what we were doing. The detective stared at him, voice steady. Nobody made you stab her. You're 24 years old, who can make you kill someone? Jose sighed. Nobody made me, he said. She talked me into it. The detective leaned forward. You stabbed a poor, drunk woman 20 times while she was on her bedroom floor. One of the worst stabbings I've seen in 23 years of law enforcement. Jose didn't respond. In 2023, Jose Sandoval Romero pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. He was sentenced to 48 years in prison, with his earliest possible release in July 2055. Ariana's mother, Susan, was 72 years old when she lost her daughter, the granddaughter of a Manson family victim, now gone to the same kind of violence. Too heartbroken to speak publicly, she released only a short statement through family. A GoFundMe organized by Ariana's sister, Romy, helped bring her body back to California for burial and created a small trust fund for Ariana's young son. The cycle of violence that began more than 50 years earlier, with the Manson murders in Los Angeles, had somehow found its way back into the same bloodline. And for one family already marked by tragedy, history had repeated itself in the most haunting way imaginable. Ariana Woke was 40 years old. She was kind, trusting, and saw the good in everyone, even the stranger who would take her life.